Hey, it is Chanel Renee. I am super excited about this video. I am going to be talking about the effects of sex. So let's talk about sex. Never mind, it's fine. Okay, sex. So how does sex affect us in a various amount of ways? And not just any type of sex, not just sex between you and your husband. I mean premarital sex. I mean casual sex. I mean friends with benefits. That's the homie. That's bae, only on the weekend, part-time lover type of sex is what I'm talking about. Like, how does it affect you? Casual hookups, one night stands, or even being in a relationship with somebody who is not your husband or your wife, but we're having sex. Like, how does that affect you? So the first one is, of course, our mental state. So premarital sex can affect us mentally by desensitizing us. We don't actually ever look at the real purpose and reason. We just mentally kind of go off of what we see, which is, yeah, everybody's doing it. It is what it is. There is no shame in my game because it's just sex. Like, that's kind of how it is nowadays. It's just sex, point blank, and the period. There is no sacredness. It's desensitizing us mentally. So another way that it can affect us is emotionally. Now, I don't know about you, but there are times where you can hear a certain song on the radio, you can smell something, somebody could wear the same deodorant as somebody that you had sex with, and it just automatically gives you a flashback. Like, you're like, oh my, you smell like so-and-so. And of course, you don't say this, hopefully you don't say that, but in your mind, like, your emotions are all messed up at that moment because you just had a flashback or you just had a memory, positive or negative, whatever that memory was. Like, your emotions are all messed up now, and now you got to go back to your car and try not to cry because you missed that person, or whatever the case may be. Or there's cases where you can have a flashback that's triggered from, you went to the grocery store and you heard a song and it reminded you of so-and-so, and you're like, how is so-and-so? You know what, I think I need to call so-and-so. And it just emotionally has you all over the place. So much so that you can't even control your emotions. You don't even have control over your emotions because you hear a song, you see something on TV, you see a billboard, you click on a girl or a guy on Instagram who looks like the person that you possibly had sex with or that you dated or whatever, and your mind and your emotions are all over the place. Like, emotionally, sex can make you unstable when it is done outside of marriage. Another way is physically. Physically, it can affect you in so many ways. But the one that is prevalent today is honestly causing sterilization, where you can't even have kids. Like, it's not even something you think about when you're at a certain age, but as you grow older, you realize that one act that you did with one person that you possibly didn't even love has now caused you and affected the rest of your life. And that is actually HPV. So HPV can turn into cervical cancer, just how HIV turns into AIDS. And it's just crazy to think that our life can be taken away from us because we were exposed to something too quickly, because we got into a relationship, or because we got into bed with somebody way before we were supposed to. And had we just checked them out a little bit longer, had we just made them wait, and all those things, a lot of these things can be prevented. So physically, it can affect us greatly. So the way that it can affect us as well is spiritually. So I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, but a lot of times you can have sex with somebody and you end up feeling more empty than before you had sex with them. And it doesn't matter how great the sex is. It doesn't even matter if you love that person, but there is something in you. There is a God-sized void in you that just continues to grow and grow and grow the more you try and fill it up with people and sex and, you know, so many other things that we can try and fill it up with. But one of the effects of sex is it spiritually, it causes us to be more empty. spiritually, and it can create so many more issues for us. So it's like we went to sleep with this person and then all of a sudden we woke up depressed, but little did we know their depression now became my depression because we had a spiritual exchange when we had sex. Or, you know, I didn't really have these types of thoughts or issues, or basically I was not this crazy until I had sex with you, and now I'm a little different. Spiritual exchange. So we really have to watch all of those things, and this video is honestly just to let you know and get you aware of the effects of sex. Like, if we're aware of something, at least we're gonna give it a chance to say, maybe I need to change this, or I should consider this. So please consider the effects of premarital sex, because whether you want to believe it or not, whether you want to own it or not, or whether you want to stay in denial or not, premarital sex affects you tremendously. I wish I could say otherwise. I really wish I could be like, okay, so about these effects of sex, because they are all amazing, but it's not true. There are so many ways that sex can affect you in a negative way, and to be able to bring you that and make you aware of it is just the start of a new and greater beginning for your wholeness and you being complete in God. So I pray that this video is something that has made you more aware of the effects of sex, that you share it, that you like it, that you subscribe, that you do all those things, but most importantly, that you walk away knowing that you are worth the wait, and the wait is definitely worth it.